Welcome back to our Hatters Walk. We're going to try and be positive this week. We knocked Plymouth out of the Cup. We're heading to Wembley. Hopefully we'll know that by Friday morning, of course, as well. And although we didn't win away at Port Vale, positive is we didn't lose either. So there we are. Well, there's our positives done for this week. We've got Mark, Lewis and Kevin fresh back with us to answer a couple of questions this week. Namely, the football, sideways, backwards, not going forward. Why have we adopted such a negative style, and what can be done about it? Thank you very much for your company. Thank you for all your comments. Last week, 500 now subscribers. That's absolutely amazing. Really, really appreciate all your support as we grow this into a nice little weekly podcast, 20 minutes of Luton Town chat. What more could you want to listen to, Lewis, hey? To talk about this club every single week and listen to it. Positives this week, Lewis? Let's get a positive from each of you before we delve into the nonsense of social media. What have you enjoyed this week, Lewis?
Oh, why do you have to put me on the spot like that? I enjoyed the Plymouth performance last week. We're still within the last 7 days. That was a good performance. Jake Richards in particular, who I'm going to mention with our R, for Luton players, was outstanding. I still can't believe he's 18 years old. And also, we scored a goal away from home, and we didn't lose. Naki Welsh has been performing quite well over the last 3 matches. So I'll go with that as my positives.
Excellent. Now, that's the spirit. Let's keep this going then, Kevin, yeah? What else has impressed you?
Lewis pretty much took all the positives because it hasn't been the worst week, I guess. It's better than last week. And like you said right at the top of the program, 1 match away from Wembley. And maybe that should be the headline, because we get there on Wednesday, 1 game away, 1 free goal, 1 good goal, and it's going to be a beautiful day at a neutral venue. So we should win that as well and have a cup for a change.
Okay. Yeah, put Northampton to the sword and we're all done, Mark, aren't we? And welcome back, Mark. We missed you last week. You escaped the Q player, so we're on to R this week. How are you? Positives for you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Had a good day out. Had a good day out in Stoke on Saturday.
That's an oxymoron.
Yeah, before the game and after the game. No, you're looking for positives. I was really pleased to see Liam Walsh back. I just like Liam Walsh. He gives us something, and like Lewis said, how Jake Richards is 18. What a player! And whilst there are some issues with the team, I just think build a team around Jake, then we're gonna, that'll be a positive. And whilst we're talking about positives, that save near the end that got us the points at Port Vale, Josh Keeley, wow, what a save! And it's like really strange, the goals we're conceding, that he's got a good chance of getting the Golden Glove in League One, which is just absolutely bonkers.
And I'll throw in my positive as well, shall we? Huddersfield Town, 52 points. Luton Town, 47 points. Luton Town game in hand. Win that, go up to 52 points behind. There we go. We can still do it. Never mind that there's a bit of traffic in between us in Reading, Stevenage and Wickham, but there we go. There's my positive. See, everything is rosy in the Luton Town garden. Right. Should we look at some negatives and put the world to rights? Here we go. You know what's coming. Charles says, just to clarify, everybody, please, Gary Sweet does not pick this team. Jack Wilshere's selections are now baffling me. He stands on the touchline chewing gum, looking like a rabbit caught in headlights. We're actually getting worse, not improving. Please put him out of his misery. And second this evening. That was, of course, straight after the Port Vale game. Things have calmed down since then. Can I just check with where we are at with Jack Wilshere and all of you? We're kicking off the season in August, whichever league we're in. Is Jack Wilshere in the dugout for all of you?
100% yes.
Okay.
There's no way he won't. Well, I'll say there's no way he won't be. I expect. I think I answered this probably a couple of weeks ago that we've invested too much in him. I think you can see the identity, and let's see, he'll have another transfer window to get the players that he wants. I still don't believe that he's got the squad to play the type of football he wants to play. And that's basically what I'll say. But yeah, he'll without a doubt, he'll definitely be there, and he should be there. We can't be like them down the road where we go through 4 managers a season.
Okay. Kevin, where are you? Are you Wilshere firmly in, or are you on the fence?
Look, he'll probably be there, and like Mark says, you can see the identity. I'm just not too sure that's the identity that most people want at this point. As you said, sideways, backwards, no urgency, probably not enough passion. We went from fans who wanted to listen to the pre-match interview and the post-match interview, trying to find out, to people really not wanting to listen to it anymore. People believe that he has no passion on the side of the field. People don't see that passion on the field. I'm not too sure. For once, I don't 100% agree with Mark. I don't know I'm not too sure we don't have the players. If we name all the players in the squad, we have some heck of good players. We can name them off that. I don't know if the players are the fault, whether it's the combining of the players into the team or whether it's just the style of play. He's trying to be technical. He's trying to be possession-based, and it's just simply not working. To answer your question, I do believe he's there because we don't fire managers easily. But I think Lewis said it on his podcast, or he said it a bit earlier. Every manager needs a bit of credit for them to last a bit longer. And at this point, he doesn't have any credit. So unless he starts winning very soon, there could be problems. I think it was Lewis who said that on his podcast.
Okay. I won't put you on the spot, Lewis, because obviously you were invited to meet him earlier this season, so I don't want to rob you of that potential opportunity again at any point. But I will put this one to you, if that's okay. Craig Claus says, if Wilshere is serious about staying, playing that style of football, please play the kids and get them good at it ahead of next season. Watching these players try to mess around with the ball is absolutely painful. And lots of others, where have you all gone? Sorry, that's the wrong button. Lots of others, Lewis, saying similar. We just don't have the players for the style of football the brand he's trying to bring in. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. We don't have a plan B, and the evidence was there against Port Vale where there was a lack of attacking intent, and it's not the first game we've seen this season where we just don't look like we've got a plan B. We struggle sometimes to break teams down when they put 11 players behind the ball. I feel like there's a lack of adaptability with modern day coaches. I understand what Mark's saying about, he needs a summer to bring more players to maybe fit that style. But then what happens when we come up against a team that can match us, that can stop us playing the way we want to play? Where's the plan B then? Where's the plan C? You've got to have some adaptability about you. And I also feel like you can't always play to the player's strengths. You still got to figure out a way to win. And Wilshere, one of the very first things he was vocal about was my style of football was a winning style of football. All I care about was winning. Well, if that is the case, then, maybe come away from the possession-based football from now until the end of the season. Focus about, hitting the target of playoffs. Because if you don't hit that target, you don't have credit. And I do think he won't last very long if you don't get playoffs this season, because all it will take is one bad run of results next season, and then I can see the board doing exactly the same as what we did with Matt Bloomfield, because it's literally identical. Bloomfield didn't keep us up, so therefore he had no credit, and then he had the bad run of results and he got sacked, and I can see it happening again. I know we don't want to compare ourselves to Watford, but they still get a bit of luck when they change their managers, and they've got more of a chance of getting the playoffs than what we do right now, I would say. Even with the 5 points in the game in hand, I still do not have any confidence we can do it.
Yeah. I saw an analogy, Mark, and I didn't grab it, and I should have done, but I was on my phone where basically described Luton and Cardiff as two of the biggest fish in the pond of this season, one with a big bag of cash on its back. And that's not the fish that's going up. And add on to that next season we're going to have 3 huge sharks potentially in Sheffield Wednesday, Leicester City and West Brom heading into this division, and you're no longer the biggest fish anymore. And you don't have your bag of cash either. So hence why people are so desperate for it to succeed now. Do you get that philosophy?
And in a way, that would actually suit us better, because we do not do well when we're favourites. we always have this mentality that you look at all the seasons we've done well. We weren't expected to get into the Premier League, weren't expected to stay up. And the minute we have a favourites tag, it doesn't sit well with us and the pressure is too much. So I don't, yes, we'd all love to go up. I don't see it doing us any harm through stabilising. And the interesting thing is, whilst most supporters think that playoffs are gone, the team, the manager, the club are still believe that we can get the playoffs. So you're not going to start playing people for next season and bring all the youngsters in, and you're not going to plan for next season when potentially there's still the playoffs there, even though most fans don't believe it can. But you never know. If we win Wednesday, there's a Wembley final, what that springboard might do. Because I think the biggest thing for me is Jack talks a lot about confidence and belief, and then you play as well as we did at Plymouth, which was virtually their full team, and then 3 days later we just look completely different away from home. So yeah, it's difficult, but I agree League One will be stronger next year, because as poor as we've been, we're still 10th. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay. So have a look at the fixtures to come then, before we delve into the player of the month for February. So obviously the semi-final this Wednesday, Kevin, and then some massive games then to come. I mean, look at that. Reading and Wickham sandwiched in the space of 7 days, with a trip to Doncaster, of course, in between there, who aren't doing so well themselves, and then Exeter at the end of the month. So is it fair to say that it's make or break now for these players and Jack this month?
We keep saying that every month, and we find ourselves in the same position. But especially the Luton Reading game. I mean, that's a 6-pointer again, and we have lost all the vital games. But if we lose that one at home, it's probably going to be a little bit too far from us. Just to answer your question and just to add on to Mark there, it's actually crazy, and you're bringing it up, that Cardiff, who we've been ahead of for the last couple of years, is 25 points ahead of us at this point. It's actually madness. I was looking at the log today again, to think they've done that well. And even when we played them a couple of weeks ago, how much better they played than us. So the Reading game is going to be important, but if we don't start becoming very consistent very soon, it won't really matter what we do in that game.
Lewis, have you given up on playoffs?
Yeah, I don't have any confidence. We've not. For me, you've got to go into the playoffs being consistent, having full belief, and when your manager's coming out after games and saying there's a lack of belief, if you've got a lack of belief now, I find it really tough for them to have constant belief when you need it the most in a playoffs, when anything can happen. You're going to have good moments, you have bad moments. Literally anything can happen in those playoffs, and you've got to play one of those ties away from home. And we know what we're like away from home. So yeah, I don't honestly believe the next 4 league games, 8 who has got something to play for. And I just really don't know what we're capable of doing.
Cheers, Lewis. Right, we're going to say goodbye to February, but as you well know on this channel, before we say goodbye to a month, we have to push you to choose a player of the month. Mark, for February, who's impressed?
That is such a hard one. I mean, I don't know, Josh Keeley. I mean, he is the constant. There's players that are coming back. Izzy Jones looks like he's getting back to his best. But I mean, if you look at the results, we had that great performance against Bradford. Jake Richards, I'd put in there as well. But yeah, it'd be after those.
Okay, Kevin?
I would go, seeing that we're on the letter R, I'd definitely go for Jake Richards as well for this month. He has been the one shining light, and especially, like Lewis said, at 18 years of age. We can't give it to Clark every month, so let's give it to Jake Richards this month.
Okay. Lewis?
Yeah, I think hat trick. Jake Richards. He scored against Bradford in the best home performance of the season. That was earlier this month. He was player of the match against Plymouth Argyle. And yeah, he's just, when you play him as a number 10, he's just unbelievable. But when we play him out wide, and this is where I do point fingers at Jack, he's really ineffective because he's not a winger. He's a number 10. Play him centrally, play him in his correct position, and you see how good his intelligence is and how good he can be in the middle of the park. So hopefully we'll see that against Northampton.
Okay. All right. We wish you well against Northampton on Wednesday night. You're going to win this competition now, aren't you? Given it's just, and the whole world's going to hate you for it. But there we go. Yeah, you can have Ian Holloway jumping up and down. On every radio station the day after you win this cup. Right.
They're going to ask him to be pundit.
Yeah.
He got sent off Saturday, so he's got some free time coming up.
Okay. Letter R then. Before we get to R, just a quick one, a couple of R's we need to ask you about. Referees, Kevin. Are there any good ones in League One? Just asking. Not getting into a heated debate here. Genuinely, are there?
You asked us this a couple of months ago, and I was trying to be diplomatic at that time and say we should take the ref route. But I think they are getting worse and worse at League One, to be honest with you. Even on Saturday, the performance was disappointing. Both sets of supporters were actually against him. I don't think there's been a good reffing game in a couple of months, to be honest with you. It hasn't been great.
Okay. Also stands for relegation. So we're asking who's the worst teams you've played this season? Who do you think is going to drop from this division? You might not care, but it's not you. That's the main thing. Lewis, who's the worst side of this division you've seen with your eyes? It's not Port Vale because they've got 2 points from you, haven't they?
Yeah, I know. I'm tempted to say Blackpool. I can't believe what's happened to them. I'm absolutely shocked when you look at the recruitment they did before the season started. They signed some big name players, some proven players at this level, and they had high expectation that they could actually claim a playoff position. But when you actually look at the performances against us, they just look completely like a team that is fighting to stay up. And then their results against other teams, which I've witnessed, they can't defend. They struggle to score goals. So I would have to say Blackpool definitely up there as one of the worst sides in the league.
Okay. Yeah, Mark, you've been to every one of them so far. Who's in trouble?
Well, I think just by the points, you just got to presume Port Vale have gone, but we haven't beaten them. And in performance-wise, I wouldn't say they've been the worst team we've played, but I think the league's so inconsistent that anyone can beat anyone, and you've just got to string some results. I mean, I'm not even going to say Northampton because I don't want to tempt fate on Wednesday and say they've been poor and then they turned us over. But we've only seen them once, and I think they're probably struggling the most. They lost to Port Vale. They've lost some big games to teams in and around them. So I'd probably worry for Northampton, and we'd like them to stay up. So if we're in League One, we want a short journey.
Yeah, okay. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And finally, then, R80Z rolls on to letter R. Who's got a good one here? Kevin, do you want to kick us off if you've got any?
I know what Lewis's one's already, so I'm not going to take his one in Jake Richards, but Glenn Rea is definitely someone that we can talk about. Also a good servant of the club. And then there's, if we want to go back in time, and a lot of the comments on the podcast, people are coming to say, do you people only know your current players and that kind of stuff? But obviously Andy Rennie as well is the second highest scorer of all time for Luton as well. So I'll go with those two and I'll leave the rest for the other two men.
Okay. Mark?
I was obviously not going to steal Lewis's thunder, but Glenn Rea, I would say. I saw him come through the leagues with us. Great player, very versatile, and got to know him a bit. And top bloke. Another one, Jimmy Ryan, managed us. So yeah, we're a bit sparse on the R's. We've had quite a few Robinsons play for us.
Okay. And Lewis?
Yeah, I was going to say, Glenn Ray as well. I think if he never got that injury, I think that after he didn't really look like the same player after I think it was an ACL injury he did. And he actually played on for another 10 more minutes after he got the knee injury because he was that much of a warrior. And that's someone that I do think we would love to have in this Luton team right now. But I have to say Richards because I do think if he does not play Premier League football, something's gone horribly wrong because he's that good. I honestly see him going to the very, very top. I'm just going to enjoy every time I see him play because I do think he's got it all. The only thing he lacks is the physical aspect, which I think he can get better. But at the age of 18, most young players have that as something they need to work on. But his technical ability is definitely there. He just needs to add more goals and assists to his name, and he will start becoming a more high-profile player, and more fans outside of Luton will start talking about him.
Some really good shouts there. Who are we putting in then out of all that? We haven't put many current players.
My mind going really blank here, but is it Ian Roper? Does he have a particular? Was he good? I can't remember. He's an old name that has popped up in my head.
I can't comment, so I'll let you have the final vote. Please.
All right, let's put Jake Richards in because we haven't had many current players in there, have we? Let's be fine. Yeah, are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, did Ronnie Rosenthal play for Luton at one point? I imagine
had him on loan.
That'd been a double points if you just said Rosie Rosenthal. Right. Thanks for watching. Right, so S then next week. That should be good. Let's see if Gary Sweet gets a mention next week, shall we? In those comments. Thank you very much for watching. 21 minutes of Luton chat coming up next week. We're looking back, of course, at the semi-final and, of course, the game this weekend. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for your company this week. Drop us a quick sub if you haven't yet done so already. We're on the road to 600. Appreciate your thoughts. See you next week.